Do you know that the demon Mahishsura is actually a good king, celebrated in an ancient 2300 years old literature? Surprised? Yes, let us talk about Mahishsura in this video. The story of Mahishsura, the legendary demon king, is a popular mythology of Hinduism. Mahisha means buffalo. It is said that the goddess Shakti revealed herself to slay this demon named buffalo and got the title Mahishsura Mardini. There is a temple at the top of Chamundi Hills in Mysore for Mahishsura Mardini and a huge statue of Mahishsura in front of the temple. The death day of Mahishsura is being celebrated as Dasara in Karnataka till this day. This story first appears in Devi Mahatmya, written in 5th century CE, and continues to appear in lot of other texts, including Adi Shankara's very famous song of Aigiri Nandini, which celebrates the goddess for slaying Mahishsura. But 700 years before this period, this Mahishsura has been mentioned as a normal mortal king in an ancient Tamil literature known as Sangam literature. The poems of Sangam literature were written at various periods spanning for 500 years from 3rd century BC to 2nd century CE. In these ancient Tamil poems, Mahishsura has been talked about in a contemporary tone and praised and celebrated as a good powerful king of a good beautiful kingdom. Ahananuru is a collection of 400 romantic fictional poems belonging to Sangam literature, and Ahananuru is said to have the earliest poems of Sangam literature. Ahananuru poem 253 talks about Mahishsura and mentions Mahishsura as King Erumai. Erumai is buffalo in Tamil. This poem is a piece of monologue uttered by the heroine's friend to the heroine. The context is that the hero has gone to a kingdom far away in order to earn wealth. The heroine is worried, distressed and pining his separation. The friend is comforting her. This is the context of the poem. Ahananuru 253, written by Nakirar, Madurai Nakirar. வைகள் தோறும் பசலை பாய என் மெய்யும் பெரும் பிரிது ஆகின்று ஒய்யென அன்னையும் அமரா முகத்தினள் அலரே வாடாப்பூவிற் கொங்கர் ஓட்டி. The poem goes on. This poem has 26 verses. From 9th verse to 19th verse, this poem talks about King Erumai, that is Mahishsura. From 9th verse onwards, ஆழல் வாழி தோழி வடா அது ஆரிருள் நடுநாள் ஏர் ஆ ஒய்ய பகைமுனை அறுத்து பல்லினம் சாய் கணம்சால் கோவலர் நெடுவெளி பயிரறிந்து இனம் தலை தருவும் துளங்கு இமில் நல்லேற்று தழுவு பிணர் எருத்தம் தாழப்பூட்டிய தூம்பு அகலமை கமம் செல பெய்த துருகாழ் வல்சியர் தொழுஅறை வவ்வி கன்றுடை பெருநிறை மன்றுநிறை தருவும் நேரா வன்தோள் வடுகர் பெருமகன் பேரிசை எருமை நல்நாட்டுள்ளதை ஐரியாறு இறந்தனராயினும். The poem goes on. These poems have been translated by Mrs. Vaidehi Herbert, available in the internet as Sangam translations by Vaidehi. I have given the link in the description box. As per the translation, I'll read the portion where King Erumai is talked about. Do not entertain the thoughts that you will live only for a few more days. Do not cry, may you live long, my friend. Even though he has crossed the Airi river in the fine Vadugar country, here he refers to the lover of the heroine. Even though he has crossed the Airi river in the fine Vadugar country belonging to the greatly famous Erumai, a strong-shouldered leader with no equal, who seizes in the north in the darkness of night and brings to his town's common grounds big herds of cattle with calves from cattle herders whose loud calls cause their bulls with moving humps to bring their herds together, their coarse necks bearing bamboo tubes filled with dense abundant food. He will think about you without confusion. The poem goes on. Unexpectedly and unintentionally, the poet records a piece of history in this poem. In this poem, Mahishsura has been described as Perisai Erumai, meaning a greatly famous king named Erumai. Isai in everyday Tamil means music. but this word also means fame in classical literature. There is an old film song in Tamil, அச்சம் என்பது மடமையடா அஞ்சாமை திராவிடர் உடமையடா, where there is a verse, இமயவரம்பில் மீன்கொடி நாட்டி இசைப்பட வாழ்ந்தான் பாண்டியனே. Here isai means fame and not music. Further in this poem 253, Erumai, King Erumai has been described as Nera Vanthol Vadugar Perumagan, meaning a powerful shouldered king with no one equal to him, the noble chieftain of Vadugar. Vadugar are the people of the ancestors of present day Kannada speaking and Telugu speaking people. Peruman comes from the word Perumagan. In Tamil, Lord Shiva is hailed as Siva Peruman. But in this poem 253, we see that Mahishsura is being described as Perumagan. This title of Shiva is being used for Mahishsura in poem 253 Nagananuru. In this poem, the king Erumai's activity described is known as Aanirai Kavardal, that is seizing of cattle from the north and bring them to his own town's common grounds. It is a popular practice of the ancient Tamil kings, Aanirai Kavardal. This was a legitimate practice where a king proves his power, and this practice is much talked about in many Sangam poems. A king raids some other kingdom at night, seizes the cattle and brings them to his own town. This is a way of challenging the other king for a battle. The opponent can choose to come with his army for a battle or accept this king's supremacy without resistance. This poem describes this practice in detail and also says that King Erumai was popular for this activity of Aanirai Kavardal. The next poem that talks about King Erumai is Agananuru 115. It was written by Mamulanar. அழியா விழவின் அஞ்சுவரு மோதோர் பழியிலராயினும் பலர்புறங்கூறும் அம்பல் ஒழுக்கமும் ஆகிய வெஞ்சொல் சேரியம் பெண்டிர் எள்ளினும் எள்ளுக நுண்பூன் எருமை குடநாட்டன்ன என் ஆய்நலம் தொலையினும் தொலைக. The poem goes on. The translation is, let them laugh if they want to, the women on our street who utter harsh words behind the backs of others even when there is no blame, in this fierce ancient town with endless festivities. Let it be lost if it has to be, my fine beauty, lovely like that of Kudanadu belonging to King Erumai wearing fine jewels. This poem is again a romantic fiction talking about King Erumai and his kingdom. King Erumai's kingdom is clearly mentioned as Kudanadu. Kuda in Old Tamil is west. In Sangam Tamil, we don't find the words Merku and Kiழக்கு for west and east being used now, but instead we find the words Kudakku and Kunakku for west and east. Kudanadu literally translates to Western Kingdom. In this poem, King Erumai has been described as Nunpoon Erumai, meaning Erumai wearing fine jewels. The heroine compares her own beauty with the beauty of Kudanadu, the kingdom of Erumai, which is present-day Karnataka. Kudanadu later changed to Kudagu and Coorg in present usage. There are so many other things to say as simile for her beauty. Instead, the poet chose Kudanadu to compare the beauty of the heroine. As we saw in these poems, this king is mentioned as a normal mortal king like all other kings, and also as a very famous king of a good kingdom, a beautiful kingdom. Nowhere in Sangam literature he is either mentioned as a demon or even as a tyrant. To summarize, the adjectives used to describe the king Erumai, that is Mahishsura, are Nunpoon, Perisai, Nera Vanthol and Vadugar Perumagan. Nunpoon means king wearing fine jewels. Perisai means greatly famous. Nera Vanthol means powerful shouldered with no king equal to him. Vadugar Perumagan means the noble chieftain of the Vadugar. It is interesting to note that a contemporary literature of King Erumai praises and celebrates him, whereas a literature which was written 700 years after his period portrays him as a tyrant and as a demon. In the next episode, let us discuss the markers in Sangam literature which show us that this King Erumai is the Mahishasura of Mysuru. Thank you.